What's going on, everyone? So, one of the centers that the Lakers tried to acquire this past trade deadline was Jalen Duran of the Detroit Pistons. Supposedly, they offered the same package that they did for Mark Williams. The Detroit Pistons rejected the trade and said, no, we're good. We want to keep Jalen Duran. However, things change. Plans change, right? Teams go in different directions, right? Guy that's available one day or isn't available one day ends up becoming available the next. Jalen Duran would be fantastic. I mean, he's exactly what this Lakers team needs, right? Give you that interior presence, give you that rebounder. Is he the perfect center? No, he definitely has some flaws, right? Particularly staying out of foul trouble, right? Needs to be better discipline at times, but he is so good, still incredibly young, incredibly versatile, and could really make an impact for this Lakers team, especially alongside Luka Doncic, right? Him and Cade Cunningham, right? That lob threat, imagine him and Luka continuing that lob threat would be special. And now you have that foundation piece for now and the next 8 to 10 years or however long, right? But the reason I think that the Lakers may be able to revisit a potential Jalen Duran trade is because reports came out that the Detroit Pistons are looking to add a Naz Reid or Miles Turner or some type of floor stretching big man, that they want a floor spacer at the center position. Now, look, if they can land a Naz Reid or they can land a Miles Turner, I think Miles Turner is probably unlikely because Indiana being in the NBA Finals, if they win a championship, they probably run it back. If they don't win a championship, I think Miles Turner is like, we got to the conference finals and then we got to the NBA Finals. Can we actually win one this time? I think he at least gives them a year or two to try to figure it out. We'll see. Time will tell. But if they can get any type of center, right? Any type of floor spacer, I do think Naz Reid is more realistic for them, right? Because they can work out a sign and trade, or they can work out, just any type of deal, period, right? To where they could just sign them out, right? I think Detroit has some. I haven't really looked at the cap space, but I know that they had some, and they might be able to kind of finagle some stuff to make it happen. But point is, I think Naz Reid is more realistic for them than a Miles Turner. But if they can pull off a trade for another big man, whatever, that could be beneficial for the Lakers because they already have an abundance of centers, right? Obviously, they have Jalen Duran. They have Isaiah Stewart, right? So you're talking two guys right there that you can make an argument for at the center position, right? Two guys that probably, could start on any given night for this team. And then now they're going to add in another big versatile center, right? It's just and then that's not counting Paul Reed and all these, so again, they already, you could argue, have an abundance of centers, right? They already have 2-3 guys that you could have be your starting center now if you're Detroit. And then you're going to go add in another guy that would start, right? So let's say they get Naz Reid. Naz Reid wants to start, right? So are you starting him alongside Jalen Duran? Are you bringing Jalen Duran off the bench, right? Are you at that point, then why? You might as well just trade him at that point, right? He's going to be due for a new contract soon and whatnot, right? And then if they get a Miles Turner, he doesn't want to play the 4, he wants to play the center spot, right? So even if you did get a Miles Turner, right? So if the Detroit Pistons really are trying to get a floor spacing center, right? And the guys that they're targeting are starting centers, or at least starters. Naz Reid can play the 4, and I think he's probably best at the 4, so you could play him alongside. But again, it's just now you have this abundance. Somebody's going to have to be expendable, right? Maybe it's an Isaiah Stewart, right? Maybe they look to go trade Isaiah Stewart. I wouldn't mind having Isaiah Stewart either, right? Give you some toughness, particularly on the inside. I know him and LeBron had the little spat, and I've seen people be like, LeBron would never allow it. I don't think LeBron would care, right? Talk about a guy that just gives you that toughness on the inside, gives you that just physicality that the Lakers need. He's not afraid of a squabble, right? Lakers need those toughness. And look, LeBron played with Lance Stevenson and guys he doesn't care. He just wants to win, right? And, Isaiah Stewart's now going to be in LeBron's camp. Now he's going to have that pit bull ready to squabble for him now rather than before where he's trying to kill him. I think, again, it's the NBA. Guys are competitive. Guys are emotional, right? You get caught up in the heat of the moment. You move on. You wipe your hands with it. Your teammates, now you guys are besties, right? That's what I think will ultimately end up happening. But again, this could be an opportunity for the Lakers. Lakers, right? Because you have teams like Detroit. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if other teams kind of follow suit and kind of go like, hey, like we want this or we're looking for this. And then that could open up more opportunities for the Lakers. Also, again, we talked about like the NBA draft, right? You're probably going to get a couple teams that already have centers that are now going to go draft a center and are like, okay, well, maybe we trade this guy now, right? Like I've talked about, like, what if Utah ends up drafting a center? Or, you get, Portland that drafts another center or something like that. It's like, okay, well, now they need to start making some decisions. Now guys start to open up, right, and become available, right? What if Detroit ends up drafting a center? Or, again, they end up landing. What if Miles Turner does want to go to Detroit? What if Miles Turner does end up like, hey, let me go get the bag now, right? Especially if he wins the championship. There could be a potential where it's like, hey, you know what? I got my ring. Let me go get the bag, go get the money, right? We might be some cap implications here where I could go to a team like Detroit, play, with a Cade Cunningham and all these young guys and maybe go try to win another championship with another team or something like that, right? Or maybe they're offering more money or whatever, right? Or again, Nas Reed ends up coming, right? And they work out a sign and trade or they work out some type of deal and it's like, okay, well, now you need to make some decisions. Like, who's going to end up? Well, we could trade Jalen Duran to the Lakers and, and now, so hopefully, fingers crossed, right, is that what this does is this potentially opens the door for a potential Jalen Duran trade. I'm hoping that that's what this ends up meaning. Like, it starts with Detroit. We need to whatever, right? Like we need to do whatever we got to do, speak it into existence that they end up landing a Nas Reed or a Miles Turner or some type of starting level, right? Like, a Maxi Kleba, right? Like, yeah, he's a floor spacing big man, which maybe you can work some deal out and go get some other pieces. I mean, Detroit has several guys that make sense for the Lakers, so maybe you can work out a deal with them to get some guys and maybe you go get Jalen Duran, right? In the deal. But point is that like, if they get a backup floor spacing center, then I think it's less likely that they're going to trade a Jalen Duran or something like that, right? Or maybe they trade a Stewart or whatever, right? Or maybe they just kind of like run a big that, they look at it like, oh, we just use Maxi Kleba as an example. Like, oh, we can, slot Maxi Kleba at the 4 and go with multiple bigs, right? And then have them at the 5 on occasion, right? But, if they're looking for centers, at some point they're going to have to start making some decisions on these centers. At some point they're going to have to start like, okay, well, what do we want to do, right? Maybe Jalen Duran is that guy. Maybe they look at it as like, man, we can get a haul from the Lakers, right? Because, I mean, get Dalton Connect, right? A first-round pick, maybe a pick swap or something. Again, I would give whatever I have to give up for Jalen Duran. I mean, Jalen Duran's 21 years old. 21, right? And already an excellent interior presence, right? Rebounder, monster rebound. I mean, the guy is exactly what this Lakers team needs. Like, no ands, ifs, buts about it, right? To me, again, if you have to sell the farm to go get Jalen Duran, you sell the farm to go get Jalen Duran. Right? Ideally, if you could work something out to go get multiple pieces or multiple players, get a Jalen Duran, and then can you get whatever, like get some young athletes, right? Can you get I wouldn't even hate like a Ron Harper Jr., right? He's a guy that could give you some athletic. Like, again, Lakers just need some athletes, man. Lakers just need some guys that can run. I mean, look at this NBA Finals. Talk about two teams that just have a bunch of athletes everywhere, right? A bunch of like floor spacing, floor running, right? Because we're in a space and pace league and whatnot. Lakers are obviously going to operate very different because you got Luka Doncic, right? They're going to be more half court oriented. They're going to operate more in the half court rather than pushing the pace. But again, you can do the look ahead, right? It'd be nice to have a floor running big in like a Jalen Duran that can sprint up and down the court, right? Be that lob threat, be in that dunker spot, get rebounds, get putbacks, just do the dirty work at the center position, right? And you got your guy, you got your franchise center now for the next 10 plus years, right? So Lakers have interest. Detroit, was, hey, we're good right now. But again, things change, right? They fell short. They want to make some changes. They want to make some moves. Depending on what those changes and moves are, all of a sudden you look up and teams go, you know what? Hey, maybe we do revisit with the Lakers. Maybe we do talk to them and see if we can go get, whatever. Can we get a couple pieces? I don't know if they get Austin Reeves or anything like that, given what Austin Reeves said about like, I ain't going to Detroit, but like, no, and he could just leave. But again, maybe they look at it and go, man, we could use some more shooting in Dalton Connect, right? He'd be great alongside Cade Cunningham, right? We just got, Nas Reed to kind of come in and play that center position or spread the floor, right? So we got him and we got Isaiah Stewart. So we could use some more floor spaces, get some assets to maybe go pivot, make another move and go make another trade, right? Or again, maybe you're going and trading for an Isaiah Stewart, and now you got just that big physical interior presence, right? He's not a true 7-footer. He's like 6'8", 6'9", but he's like 250, but he's just strong, physical, aggressive, right? Not afraid to give the hard foul, right? Again, not afraid to get in somebody's face. Like, Lakers need that. Lakers could use some of that toughness. Lakers use some of that grown man on the inside that's just not afraid to bully, especially going up against like Jokic and Zach Edey or Ivaka Zubac or any. I mean, look at all these teams. All these Western teams have like huge centers. That'd be nice to just have a guy that you could just throw out there and just wear him down over the course of a game. Just give the hard playoff fouls and just do the dirty work and whatnot. Again, in a perfect world, you get a Jalen Duran. I'm hoping that this kind of opens things up for the potential of a Jalen Duran. But even if it doesn't, there's other options out there. But something to kind of keep an eye on if you're the Lakers. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Also, not, so enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.